Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this is going to be part 2 of the Savage series that I'm doing. Don't be fooled by the flowery dress and the makeup. We're still going to go in, we're still going to be savage. And I have to apologise first of all because it is so hot today and I've had to shut all my windows in my apartment to get the crispy audio. And I'm just sweating so much. I'm so sorry. You're just gonna have to put up with the wet hair. It's wet, it's not greasy, I promise. So today, we need to talk about why men pick the bimbo slash airhead over intelligent women. And you can insert any type of stereotype in here of why men pick a certain type of woman over you. The thing is, women that say they just love all women and every woman are lying, because there's always going to be that situation in life where you hate another woman for some reason. And that is completely natural, and we're all going to project onto other women. We constantly have to compete against each other, and I don't think it's the same for men. But I was thinking about this concept because, as you know, if you've watched my channel before, I've literally tried to level up and improve myself. And I know, take a shot, because this is not going to be revolutionary news. The number one reason men pick the bimbo, the airhead, is because men pick with their dick. And when I made that video, I was like, not to blow my own trumpet, but I was thinking, this is the most revolutionary piece of advice since He's Just Not Into You. Because I remember when that came out and everyone was like, oh my God, he's just not into you. He didn't text me back. He's just not into you. He cancelled on the date. He's just not into you. And all of a sudden it was like this epiphany, and it was like, he's just not into me. And when I came up with men pick with their dick, if someone didn't reply to my message, I was like, well, it's fine. Men pick with their dick. There's nothing I can do. It was almost like a weight off my shoulders. It's like, men pick with their dick. Men literally go for looks. As I've got older, I've tried to not get so upset with the fact that men do go on looks first. And I am hesitant to say it because I don't want it to my videos to be like a nihilistic approach of, if you're not an attractive woman, you can't find love, because that isn't true at all. What I'm saying is that men do predominantly place looks sadly above every other category, and it's so brutal as a woman. It's the worst part of being a woman. It's just so brutal that you can have everything going on in your life. You can be smart, you can be a great businesswoman, you can be kind, you can be loving, you can love animals, you can be this amazing type of woman. And sadly, men don't want to know. And that is one of the hardships in life, is that men will often pick the bimbo just because of how a woman looks, and they're not thinking of the long haul. God, so I've got to open my door, it's so hot. So the second reason why men pick the bimbo slash the airhead. We've all seen a lot of Lord Voldemort on the internet, and you probably work out who I mean, on the internet talking about how to manipulate women. And this is another reason why men pick the bimbo, the airhead, because they are easy to manipulate. It's so much easier to manipulate a 19-year-old than it is to a 30-year-old. Because a 30-year-old has been there, they've done that. They've probably got to 30, they've seen the whole spectrum of men. They know what men are like, and they don't put up with men's bullshit anymore. But men will tend to pick the bimbo, the airhead, because they are much easier to manipulate. What I do find, if it's obviously purely anecdotal, but being around the people that I know, is that men will go through a phase. Depending on where they are in life, men will go through a phase of just picking the bimbo, the airhead, as like an interim kind of period of, I don't want to get emotionally attached to anyone. I will just pick the ratchet girl. Because what can a ratchet girl offer that someone that is secure can't offer? They can usually offer men hot sex, commitment-free sex, which for a lot of men is just like the dream. And like I usually do in my videos, as I draw on personal experiences, and this kind of scenario happened twice that I'm going to talk about. And happening once, I thought, okay, this is just something that's happened and I can move on from it. But when it happened twice, I thought, there is a pattern here. Something is going on. Why is this man picking this girl over me, which has all their shit going on? You know, they look after themselves, they don't rely on a man for money, driven, ambitious. And it was the fact, like I said earlier, that men pick with their dick. So they were going for the hotter girls over me. But B, it's also because these girls offered something else. So before I moved, I used to live near Gatwick Airport. On Tinder, I would usually swipe with pilots all the time, just pilots. And I did not want a pilot for a number of reasons. But the main reason I didn't want a pilot is because I would never see them. They would always be traveling the world, having fun, and then they'd come home exhausted, tired after a long haul flight. So I was like, I don't want a pilot, because the majority of pilots, I am stereotyping, will just want casual free sex because they're concentrating on their career and they don't really want to settle down. They've spent thousands of pounds training to be a pilot. That is their life. That is their career. They don't want to settle down. So I would always swipe left on the pilots. But what's the flip side of lots of pilots being on Tinder? You say, there's lots of air hostesses. And it happened to me twice where the man I was dating stopped dating me and they picked an air hostess instead. And both times I was sitting there thinking, what has this woman got that I do not have? She is an air hostess. Not saying that you're dumb if you're an air hostess. Like, please don't hate me in the comments. Or, people do jobs for different reasons. But I was thinking, why do these men pick these women over me, who's working a corporate job? And I thought to myself, for a number of reasons, these women are fun. These women are offering commitment-free sex. These women are probably offering air miles and free holidays. Or not free holidays, but, reduced rate holidays. And they have that sexy uniform to boot and are feminine and polished. So these men were picking these women because I couldn't offer them anything. I was a 25-year-old that wanted to settle down and get married and have a baby, and these women didn't want that. These women were offering no strings, commitment-free sex because they wanted to travel the world and be an air hostess. And my brother, he's also been on dating apps from time to time, and he says there are a lot of air hostesses on Tinder because they struggle to find someone, because they're flying here, there and everywhere. These women were offering this exotic draw that I didn't have working in an office job. I knew that I would just, if I dated a pilot, I would just be resentful because I would be stuck in an office 5 days a week and this person would be off seeing the world and our two lives would just not compute because I'd be living this boring existence waiting for this man to come home and he'd be flying off all around the world, having fun, spending his time with a load of 20-year-old air hostesses. So I would probably have just been a needy, insecure mess, keep waiting for this man to come home like a little puppy dog. But the key thing these women also offered, which I didn't realise till later, is they were offering absence to a man. And we don't want to go to Robert Greene on this, but yeah, let's just name check Robert Greene. But these women, unintentionally, because they're a bimbo, were creating absence with a man. If you start dating someone and you want to be with them all the time, constantly texting them, constantly wanting to be with them, it puts a man off, like straight away. Any type of neediness will put a man off straight away. And of course, these women were probably going off all around the world, posting bikini pics, I imagine, on Instagram, living the high life and creating absence with a man. These men could have sex with these women, they'd go away for 4 or 5 days, come back, and then it's like the honeymoon period, all amazing, have a few days together, go off again. So this is why men like air hostesses, because they create absence. They create absence and space from a man. And that's what men like if they are not looking to settle down. And even if they are looking to settle down, men still need their space. they still need a bit of alone time. That's why obviously some men have their man cave. It's because they just need that time alone to just sit down and process things. Whereas women can multitask and they can be like, right, I'm doing my corporate job 40 hours a week. I'm also doing my side hustle. And I'm also spending time with my friends and family. Women seem to manage how to juggle this, to do loads of things. For a lot of men, they can't. They'll focus on one thing at a time and be super productive. Have some, have some alone time. A lot of the time, they can't mix the two. So these women were just winning, even though they were bimbos or airheads. And I am having to kind of, use this as an example and amp it up a bit for the concept of the video. But these women were just sexy, because the key thing is that even though I thought I was offering a man what he wanted, i.e. the security, the space, the intellectual conversation, when it comes down to it, the being sexy and mysterious and the creating absence will just trump every single factor. And even with my content, I'll consciously take space, take weeks off, create a bit of absence, because I don't want to bore people with my content. I don't want ever to get to the stage where I post a video and people are like, oh God, she's posting again. That's why I don't want to post 4 or 5 videos a week. I don't want people to get bored on what I'm saying. I want people to look forward to my video and think, she's posted again. What can we learn today? I strategically create a bit of absence, not abstinence, I'm not having sex. I specifically try to create absence so that I don't become boring to people. And I haven't even mentioned hypergamy yet. But did I mention it in my last video? I can't actually remember. But for a lot of men, they don't like having a successful woman. They prefer having the bimbo, the airhead, so that they can be the top dog. And they can be like, her role is to look good so that it reflects back on me. That's why they pick the bimbo, the airhead. On the whole, men aren't out there looking for the quirky, intelligent people that are different. On the whole, they sadly are looking for the bimbo and airheads. And I know it pains me to say, I don't want to be like that. Sometimes a lot of men are just looks based, and I'm so sorry. It's just how it is. And like I've had to deal with, you either accept that or you change yourself. And I've sadly had to change myself. But that's for another video. But I think to wrap this up, because I'm conscious this is a really long video, you do not need to be worried about this. If you're sitting there thinking, why does he always pick the bimbo? Why does the man always pick the woman that's got nothing going on with their life, that doesn't have a good job? When you're sitting there thinking, I have a good job, I've educated myself, and he doesn't want me. The thing is, you don't need to worry, because it's usually a phase that men go through. And as they develop and as they age, they usually grow up and they realise, sadly, much later in life than women, is that, oh shit, I need to pick someone that's more than just hot. I need to pick someone that's a good mum. I need to pick someone that's okay to be around. I need to pick someone that isn't going to cheat on me and go off with other men. Men do ultimately on the whole realise this. And that's what you have to remember, is that not all men pick the bimbo. It is usually just a phase men go through if they've been hurt or they've got out of a long-term relationship. It's just a way of just kicking off steam for a lot of men. If they've been trapped in a long relationship or marriage, they just want to go out and have fun. So they will pick the bimbo, they will pick the airhead, because they've been stuck with one person for so long. It's like letting a rat out of a cage and they just want to explore everything. Most of the advice people give me is just to go older. It is good advice on the whole, because the older you go, the more likely you're going to find someone that wants to settle down. But in the same vein, I've I've gone on dates with a load of 40-year-olds that don't want to settle. I think if a man's got to 40 and he hasn't settled or been married, I generally think, why has that man not settled? Because obviously the man has the power of making things a commitment, etc. And I think when you get the constant playboys that are just going around and they haven't settled, I think there's something in their psyche that they need to fix, why they can't settle with one woman. I feel like I could have made this video a lot more evil. I'm kind of annoyed it wasn't as evil as I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. And I'm literally sweating sitting here, so I'm going to wrap it up.